Well, good morning, our beloveds. It is our voice that inspires our another to get up every day. Because we sparkle, we shine, and even when we give her hard to digest information, she receives it with a spirit of love instead of fear, danger, or anger. We are mindful how we show up for her because the goal is to recirculate what has disturbed her, challenged her, harmed her, created incessant fear. We are here to decompensate and decompress. We need her nervous system to be online 100% so that as the rest of you show up in her world, that your triggers don't become her triggers. And it is a nervous system recalibration that is required, where you become like Buddha, where you have no trauma, no trials, and no tribulations, meaning you are grounded, you are centered, and you are clear on who you are and why you are here. Now, it does not mean that you have not had difficult moments, but what it does mean is that when those difficult moments arise, that you process them in that moment with loving individuals who may still be a little harsh at times because that is the lived reality. Don't run into traffic. You will get run over. You will die. That must be said with a forceful voice to imprint the young child. Don't run into the street. But you also then hold them, cuddle them, love on them, and say, I am so glad that you are alive. You are so important to me, and I care for you so much. So it doesn't mean that you don't have difficult moments. It's just that you are reminded every time of how loved you are. Now, how many of you can say that was your childhood experience or your adult experience? Not many of you, though there are some. And it matters because you show up with a perspective that the universe is a safe place. You don't have these hidden fears or traumas that bubble up when somebody says or does something that reminds you of that childhood moment where you did not have agency, where you felt unsafe, unheard, unrealized, and harmed by the response of your caregivers or your environment as a whole. As we move from the Piscean to the Aquarian age, that is the bridge, the rainbow bridge that we are asking you to cross, to traverse. Every color of the rainbow is there, even the shades, the hues that you cannot see, because your imprint is to be illuminated by the colors of the rainbow, the spectrum of light. When you think of a light bearer, many of you just think of white light, pure white light, maybe golden light, ultraviolet even. But it is the full spectrum of colors in the rainbow that heal, because those are the different facets or hues of fragmented light. So become the rainbow people. We will begin to channel more of the Hopi Collective's wisdom as we move further in the journey. Expect more of us in 2026 because it is the beginning of an entire new journey, and our another is finally ready to embody this because she is ready. We can see it by the colors that she emits now. in her avatar, in her echogram, in her aura. The fragmented light that she emits now is so much more colorful and wholesome and pure as she returns closer to the imprint of Source, which is simply beauty. You integrate the dark or the shadow sides within you and embrace them, recognizing that anger is a healing quality if you allow it to flow through you, but you don't get stuck in it. It is a healthy emotion because it reminds you that you don't feel safe in the moment and that you have agency to speak up, stand up, walk away, or suffer with the person because you know it's not personal. There are so many different ways that you can go about integrating your own healing, but the most important thing is to not run away from it. To consciously walk away is different than running away, which is a trauma response. And we are teaching our another to sit in her fearful moments more closely, to recognize that those fearful beliefs stem from her childhood more than anything else and have rippled through the rest of her life. And we are forcing her to sit at the edge of that bridge, worrying that she's going to fall off, because that is her fear of sorts. We are asking her to jump out of a perfectly good airplane many times over to remind her she does have a parachute. She was taught that she didn't have one, and so she shied away from the edges of life to keep herself safe, and we are now teaching her that it is okay to move forward without fear and with diligence, trusting that we will guide her to where she is meant to go and why she is meant to go, which is her own inner growth. We are challenging her beyond what she wishes to be challenged to do. We are growing her. We are teaching her spine that it is okay to be erect and firm and to know her truth and her value and her purpose. And then to allow her just to navigate life with the people that she comes across, knowing that each person will get the message from us that they are meant to hear, which means in many ways she is like a chameleon because she is an agent of the divine, where we guide her to remind the other person of who they are and what they need to hear. The bitch slap may not be a bitch slap. It may be a divinely guided message to remind you where you are not in alignment with your soul's purpose. And that is it. And if you reflect on those stinging moments and wonder why that message landed with you today, you will find so much more gravitas than gratefulness, because you are being divinely inspired to find your own illumination within. By being reminded of where you are not who and what your soul desires you to be. And we are trying to course correct your life as best as we can without forcing it on you. And that is it, our beloveds. We are enjoying the ride, and our another is enjoying it a lot more now, given that the last 4 months and the parachute jump that we made her do many times over has passed and ceased, and she can now begin to live within the divinely inspired space of illumination versus the critical nature of ER surgery designed to protect somebody and the quality of their life. It's not a fun place to live with your nervous system jacked up for 4 months, but we reminded our another that she can and she will do it, and that she has the capacity to do hard things even though she doesn't want to. We have promised her we will never make her go through this again because it really was over the top, but she challenged herself in ways that mattered for her own inner growth, and she has achieved what even we didn't think that she could achieve, because she continues to show up for herself and others like her who demand satisfaction and justice in spite of their lived experience. It is a difficult journey for some and an easy one for others because of how they were programmed and imprinted. But for those of you who are shy and shy away from confrontation, step up a little bit more. Find your voice. Find yourself in this. Find something you are really passionate about and for, and then be willing to run a marathon to learn what it is that you can learn about your own integrity in standing up for a belief or a cause that is life or death for some. And then you let go of the outcome, because it is not about the outcome. It is about your ability to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. Become the voice of the marginalized. And in doing so, you will become you, fully formed. And so it is. Namaste.